Hello everyone, welcome to another Penguin Academy game analysis. We are still in the 2025 World Championships round of 32. This is the second match between BenbowBaggins and his lizards and Justicium and the undead. Benbow finds himself in the position of needing to win this match or he is out. Justicium either draws or wins again and he is through. Obviously, that means a lot less pressure on Justicium. The expected result in most of these games should be a draw. He says, with a very, very big asterisk on it. Oh, I was gonna say I thought he was gonna set up in the wine glass. Then I don't know what that's about. This. Someone said it might have been on a Devo video. Pretty crazy if so. Oh, this is weird. This looks like he just got bored with setting up. Like, it's not terrible, but it's a bit weird to expose the skinks like this for no reason. I mean, if he's out here, you can still block diagonally, right? And get the extra block. Oh, and more importantly, what the hell is this? What is this weird line that the undead have set up in? What a strange setup. Oh, you might notice, by the way, that even though I've said in with the new rules that you don't see 4 ghouls all the time, I'd never really talked about it in the first match. He's got 4 ghouls. The main problem with it is, like, these 2 ghouls, even though they're ghouls, which are better than zombies, don't have skills. And naked ghouls, to me, are pretty rough. Having 2 of them to babysit around the place, pretty rough. And it stops you having an extra bench as well. Like, the 1 ghoul replaces 2 zombies. So if that was a zombie, there would be another zombie on the bench. You could foul if you had 2 zombies on the bench. So I kind of usually prefer the 3 ghoul approach. It is not possible. Blue is always this side. Blue is always home. And yes, it would be nice to rotate through, like having blue on this side. It would also be nice if it rotated through, just changing one of the teams to blue or red, and the other team keeps the colors. So you could have your own colors that you chose, but still make the opposing team either bright blue or bright red, depending on which one you prefer. That would be lovely too. Plenty of improvements to the UI could be made. Like, it's really annoying that because I pick my colors and I would like to see my colors, I am therefore forced to see my opponent's, like, colors. Like, there's no reason for that. Because the problem is some people pick colors that are hideous on purpose. It's why we had to turn the pitches off, because some people were picking the really obnoxious pitches on purpose. And, like, having a dark pitch like the necro pitch, and then having a dark kit on purpose to try and, like, hide their players. And still can't pick up that ball. One of the weaknesses of lizards, for people who were talking about lizards earlier, is that they almost always can't afford a third reroll. Me, Lobel, I always pick a grass pitch. New costs might make that a bigger problem, but the change to chameleon skinks make it less of a problem. It just means that if they don't increase the tiering for lizards and keep them on 6 skills, it means you're only going to have 5 Saurus that are skilled, because the 6th skill will have to go to a chameleon and give it leader for the extra reroll. It does also mean that in ladder and leagues, you can start with the greedy build and you get better quicker. The greedy build is all 6 Saurus and the Crocs and 1 reroll. That's the current greedy build. That doesn't change in the new rules. That is still going to be the greedy build. But you can get that second reroll a lot faster. Rather than having to save up to buy a reroll, you can just score twice on a chameleon in the first game and get leader immediately. That is now the greedy start for lizards. So this is one of the problems. Again, there's no good format. I'm not shitting on the format. I don't have a better format, but each format comes with pros and cons. And one of the cons of this format is that now Justicium has a win under his belt. He basically has more freedom, right? He just can just do things like just constantly 2 dice blitz with his blockless mummies, because there's an upside to it, and the downside is to it, okay, as I'll probably still draw anyway and go through. But if he does start Kazin Saurus with these 2 dice blitzes, then he just wins. I don't really like exposing this ghoul like that. Or throwing my zombie on the ground when I've only got 1 bench. And once again, Bembo failing to find the POWs. And failing to find the POWs. And failing to find the POWs. Does get a pickup. Not certain what this guy's doing. Finally finds a POW. How nice. Gets a stun for it. Okay, that does protect the skinks. It does not, however, protect his Saurus. Yeah, if you wanted an example of how dodge-based teams are annoying for lizards, they just can't bring tackle, right? They do have a new trick up their sleeve though in 3rd season. Like I said, I think every single NAF lizard team should now come with a Frenzy Saurus. Because when you combine it with Juggernaut, it's a lot stronger than it was before when you tried to make a Frenzy Saurus and he had no other skills. Naked Frenzy, okay, but Juggernaut Frenzy, hell to the yes. I think that should be the default, almost first pick for a lizard skill is straight in with Frenzy Saurus. Which to me is more interesting, right? Real interesting, because I like anything that gives you agency, that gives you interest in plays. It makes 1 turns better, so people might actually learn how to bloody 1 turn. Chain plays, surfing plays, all things you can show off skill level. and that should be encouraged. And anything that encourages uh, showing off a difference in skill is good for the game. Like, as much as it's a beer and pretzels and there's a huge crowd of people who call us tryhards or whatever, there's a reason why gazillions of people watch the best football players in the world and four mums watch your nephew play football in the park, right? It, it is just more interesting to watch people who are good at stuff. None. Vampires were the most agency team, and they have less now. They probably still are the most agency team. It just doesn't work as often, so it's not as interesting. Yeah, nothing replaces how good vampires were for that. Oh, we're fouling. We do have bench. That's a snake. He argued the call. There we go. Vampires. It's still vampires. It just doesn't work as well. No one else brought any new skills with them or anything. Agility play is all worse. And vampires are worse. So even though the the teams that have that kind of agency all still exist, they're just all worse at it now. Wood elves have less speed and less maneuverability because they can't take extra catches. Dark elves have less blitzers, so they can't do the blodge blitz basing harassment because they've only got two. Pro elves are more expensive, so unless they get tiered even better, they have less catches, therefore less speed. Same thing. And vampires, hypno got nerfed, and rats have less gutter runners. So all of that kind of play has been nerfed. Which, yeah, is a shame because that's one of the ways that you can show a skill differential. I do like the failed foul into jump up bitch slap. It didn't go in there. He could have hit him with a skink. He's not getting this power, is he? I guess he's getting many. Oh, he is hitting him with a skink. I thought that was hitting him with the Saurus, to be honest. And then he would have had another go with the skink, and then another go with this Saurus. Like pinball him around till you roll a pow. Red dice double power mummy, let's go. Stuck it, nerd. And then 1D power. Okay, we've decided to just go for it. It doesn't give him any kind of agency in the way that we're talking about, Lobel, where you can make plays, you know. Maybe Chorfs now have more agency again because their bulls can be playmakers because of break tackle. So you could take break tackle on one bull or something in a Chorf thing, but it's not the same as Agi agency play. Like, there's going to be more passivity in agi play, more shitty elf screening and stuff like that, just because you just have less tools now. Less positionals, less tools, no interesting skills came out that allowed stuff like that. And the most interesting skill of Hypnogaze gets nerfed twice. Hello, Hog. We're having a low-key introspection night while I watch Benbow versus Justicium. Which has actually been reasonable games. Well, game and a bit. Which is quite nice. Because the previous 11 were absolutely rubbish. None of those have that kind of agency, do they? The bash teams don't have that kind of agency. What we're talking about is where you can make something happen by using skills or play. Bash teams, it's not like bash teams are less skillful to play. It's just the way that they play is not that. Agility teams against bash teams or into each other, they have more choices, more ability to show off interesting and skillful plays. And that's why I always recommend taking Frenzy, because that's a skill that leans into that. But you can also have, why I also don't particularly like NAF style, because it doesn't come with enough skills for that kind of agency. Like sidesteppers need to be involved, so you can base in fun and interesting ways to try and make something happen. It feels like, for me, NAF style is too skill starved. It's too cookie cutter. It squashes the skill levels together too much, so that you don't have as much advantage from having bothered to get good as you would do if you had more tools to show that off. And this edition seems to have made that worse by nerfing agi play, nerfing vampires, nerfing elves, nerfing rats. Which is sad. It's a little sad. It took away my hype boner for third season. Alright, this is just a side switch, isn't it? We go back over to meet the Crocs. Thank you for the follow. I mean, same way Goblin players play Goblins. Is this Spardo or Spado? Your team's just worse now. that's just the answer. Sorry. You have one of the worst teams now, not one of the best teams. I mean, if you care too much about the two gutter runners that you've painted, you can just use them every other week, right? And to be fair, it's not like for NAF style. If you play tabletop to go to tournaments, they can be fixed. Anything, almost anything, can be fixed. They can't give you two gutter runners back, but what they can do is give you like 5 extra skills or allow stacks on rats, and suddenly rats move back up the rankings again. Like, NAF style have more agency to fix to fix stuff like that. Ladder can't do anything about that, right? If you want to play in a ladder in a league, you've just got shit rats. Rats are just worse. Yeah, that's why I said by almost. Like, they can't really fix stunties. The problem with stunties is their stats. Then there's nothing NAF can do about that. if you just give stunties more gold or more skills, it's more skills especially, doesn't do anything. If you give them more gold, then they just buy more bribes and more star players, and then they just foul even more. Like, like if you give a halfling 5 skills, it's still gonna have armor 6, so it's still shit. Yes, until a certain point, and then it goes back the other way. Like it's kind of a curve, right? There's a sweet spot in the middle. So RNG rules because do when two different things. When you don't have skills to offset RNG. So if you haven't got enough skills, like for example, when they skill starve lizards, they can only take 4 block. Now, rolling 1 in 9s had a bigger effect on the lizards because they didn't have any skills to offset that. So RNG has a bigger effect on that team. And the same with all of the other teams. Like if you don't have skills to offset the RNG, and or money, like if you don't have enough money to buy bench for dark elves, and RNG is what causes cas. If you just take some random cas, you just lose the game because they didn't give you enough money to counter the RNG of taking removals. So RNG has a bigger effect on those matches, which squashes the skill levels together. If RNG has more effect, skill has less effect. So it just squashes it. It doesn't mean that, like, good players are not still good players and are going to win more than the worst players, but it squashes it together. And then you get through this zone where you have enough skills and you have some bench, and so skill is the most important it can be. And then you come out the other side of that zone when you've got redundancies everywhere, when you've got 3 mighty blow tackle and 3 bench and 3 rerolls and leader, and half your team is blodge. Like when you get out of that zone, and RNG now matters because none of that does. It doesn't matter where you put your mighty blow tackle blitzer because you got 2 others. Right, so skill is now lessened because there's redundancies everywhere. Positioning doesn't matter as much because everyone's got dodge. So it's kind of like a bell curve. There's like a bit in the middle. Where that is, we all disagree about. I think it's somewhere around like 1300 to 1700. It's pretty big, like, thing. Maybe 1400 to 1600 if you want to narrow it down. And the problem with NAF style is the standard 1150 and 6 drops it below 1300. That's 1270. That's even below the bottom end of a quite wide range. And there's not much they can do about it. The reason that it is like 1150 and 6 or whatever is born out of the fact that you have to keep track of skills on a miniature board. They already have, like, 17 different companies making skill rings and other ways to keep track of things. And it's only going to be worse in the new season with more stuff to keep track of. So I doubt they're going to be more generous. So it's just, the way it works out. But it does just mean that that's how tabletop works. And yeah, and the problem with online NAF, as much as I'd like it to be like, hey, well, online doesn't have to worry about that, we can give more stuff. Ideally, you want both versions to be the same so people, share the community, right? Ideally, you want the online versions like Arena and stuff to replicate NAF as close as possible because it draws the tabletoppers in to play the same game. I would like to see more tournaments with more skills, which was my idea for ladder, like Chaos Cup and stuff. I would rather have that be, something that has more agency in it, so more skills. 1208 or something for like the top tier teams, and even more for the others. Something where you can have bench or utilize the, what do they call it with the grid? What do they call in the new system? Like the people try to push where you don't have tiers, you have specific things for every team. Because if, Necro and Dark Elves are both in tier 2, they react differently or they build differently if you give them both the exact same amount of gold. One of them will be more screwed than the other. So maybe Dark Elves need, 1,200 gold and Necro need 1,210. That's not big enough to put them in different tiers. There was a name for it. I forgot. Someone was calling it something. I just forgot what that name is. Devo was using a version of it for his chicken bowl. So, yeah, like stuff like that would be good. But stunties would still be stunties. Like stunties' problem is that they don't have the strength, they don't have the armor. There's you're not fixing stunties, and if you are fixing stunties, you're making them not stunties, right? You can have like 4 strength ups or whatever and stuff like that. It's just silly at that point. If Games Workshop don't want to balance the teams better than they have, then who are we to try and do that kind of extensive fiddling? As every single time people have tried to fix stunties, nobody's liked it because it just means they foul more. Nobody likes playing foul ball. And you know what's really annoying? I'm going to pause it to say that it's annoying that I've paused this game so much, and yet Benbow versus Justicium, the first game and the first most of this half, has been better than the previous 11 games. Because they have 4 big guys, Hog. They have 4 big guys. The rest of their team is cheap enough they could even have a star player, depending on how they, especially if they're tiered like a stunty team.
8 mar ups, 15 strength ups, 7 ag ups, 20 arg ups, 46 skills, unlimited stacking.
Yeah. Suddenly everyone's playing goblins. Not really. So the problem, elite skills has always been an idea, right? We never really had a problem if like people, because Blodge is ridiculous. Mighty Blow Tackle is good. Like certain combos are real good. Dirty Player Sneaky Git was until they just nerfed it again. Like, so combos could have been taxed. Some skills are better than others, and we always said, why can't some of these shit skills that you've put in just to bump the numbers, why can't they be 10 TV instead of 20 when you take them as a primary skill or whatever? Like, we always said that anyway, so that's okay. I think the biggest problem that I have with them introducing the idea of elite skills is that they didn't seem to give a shit about balancing any of the teams that came with the elite skills. Like, no balancing was done to, like, Norse or Amazons, even though the entire team have elite skills. Amazons especially, the entire team come with a 50 TV skill, except for the 2 piranhas. That's a dodge is a 50 TV skill for every Amazon except for the piranha. No, wait, is it the piranhas? The piranhas, yeah. That's crazy. Yes, the no secret weapons is why they've now just got 4 big guys. So I don't hate the idea of elite skills at all. That some of them cost more. I don't think it's going to be as big a problem as people talk about, because if everyone's playing a premium, then it doesn't matter, right? It mostly matters for when you're in a ladder type situation and you've taken 3 block, when the other guy then spins into you and he hasn't taken his skills yet because he's below you, then he has more from it because block is actually that good. Whereas if he'd taken 3 other skills, it wouldn't have mattered so much. But he's taken 3 of the best skill in the game, so you get 90k for it instead of 60, which I think is fine. We wait to see until it all shakes out, right? We're all going to have to play a lot of games with this to find out how it shakes out in the end. We might be wrong about something. We might find some way to make, like, dwarves work or rats work or something. It's unlikely, but it's happened before. I don't think anyone thought, like, I don't remember it, that when 2020 came out, I don't think there were a lot of people going, oh my god, swarming is going to make Underworld so OP. Having 1 to 3 snotlings on the pitch is going to make Underworld so OP. Like, I don't think anyone thought that. And then we all started playing, and everyone was like, wait a minute, Underworld are pretty fucking good with this, like, 2 extra snotlings. Like, it's pretty crazy that that was the difference. No one listens to Jim. But as it turns out, that is something that made a huge difference, right? So the reason is, Apo, because Norse, to get therefore have Blodge Linos, now have to take a 50 TV extra skill to have a Blodge Lino, whereas Amazons can take a 20 TV extra skill to have a Rodge Lino. So there's a 70 TV Rodge Lino or 100 TV Blodge Lino on the other team. Sunday, tomorrow, Hog. I'm playing tomorrow. So that's why people are complaining, like that Games Workshop made like Dodge as a secondary 50k, and then didn't glance at the Amazon team to be like, wait a minute, these Linos have got a secondary Dodge skill, and they seem to only be 50k. The rest of the Amazon is worthless. Which checks if a game was made by a bunch of men. What do you call the worthless part around a Dodge skill? An Amazon. Funny thing about, I'll go back to the game after this one last point. Funny thing about that thing, Clawpom is, I guess, Australian or something. The guy I'm playing, he's UTC plus 10. His only reply was, we'll work it out on the weekend. And then he's responded with, I can play during this window. And the window is the last 3 hours before the deadline. Reminded me how much I hate scheduling games. And this is from me, right? I'm really bad to schedule with because of my illness, right? I'm real bad to schedule with. And somehow I only ever get people who are worse. Yeah. My favorite story that I always tell about scheduling is that I genuinely once had a guy respond with, I can start on Tuesday at 8. Not like a window. That's just the only time he could start. One specific time on one specific day. Like, how do you think that's how scheduling works? Not even like I can start around 8 or like between these 2 hours. I can start on Tuesday at 8. Well, good for you. I can't. There we go. I can start at any other time. You've weirdly picked the one time on one day that I'm busy. I'm available the other 99% of the week. Let's see who the admins side with. This is a little weak, I think, this turn from Bembo. This is going to require either I was going to say either a dodge or some rushes or something. Okay, well, there's the rush. He was in his own way there, so. Is he going to go and base this ghoul? No, he's going to come out in front. Okay, interesting. I don't hate it. Hmm. You do get a buff in the third season. I think that Black Orcs get a little closer to lizards in the first season. I think their buff is better than the Juggernaut buff. But lizards are still going to be top tier and Black Orcs are not. So you're still going to be the red-headed stepchild of the two almost identical teams. I mean, what you should have done, Tempest, is covered the sack on the ball, which is probably the most important thing about that turn. I'm glad you picked someone I've covered the games of, Quincy, or you'd be eating a ban there. It's pretty impressive how you forgot while there's one actually on the screen in front of you. It's not like I'm playing Call of Duty or anything. Ooh, that's real nice. That is dead. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, I think that was a mistake. So that should have been the blitz, right? So that should have been the blitz by this skink to clear the ball and then go back that way. And then these two should have gone up there as well. we just praying we roll a pow or something here? Come on, man. This is a blodger. What are you doing? That's now the blitz. The ball is based. Benbow, you were doing so well. Now we're just dodging and praying. That was shit, mate. That was straight up shit. Justicium has 2 rerolls. What's he keeping those for? Okay. Okay. So we block here. Wait, has he already activated a blitz? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. Not a massive fan of dodging from tackle here, but I guess everything else is a 1 in 9 anyway. Like, I would have blocked here, put this skink in as the assist, and then 1 dice the ghoul to push tackle off the ball. But I guess if you have 2 rerolls, does that really do much? Oh, you could blitz with him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I like that. You could blitz with him and put the Saurus there, and then put the chameleon there. Take this as a 2 dice block, and then it's a dodge not from tackle. So you have built in for that, and then you have a reroll each for those. This is the kind of thing you have to you have to Samba, right? Because sometimes you find out that the simplest one of just dodging and doing it has the highest percentage chance of working. Like, there's been many occasions in the past where you try to, like, overcomplicate something, and every small percentage adds up to be worse than just the basic thing you could have done in the first place. See you later, Hog. The example I always give is one of the first K-Fool games I cast. And the problem is I don't tell the story that often because it always feels like I'm bragging. Like, at the time, K-Fool was better than me, so, like, and inarguably considerably better than me. And he'd not long come from fumble, and I was casting a game, and he did this, like, complicated chain push play on the like 5 blocks or something, and pushed someone through, and then did a handoff and scored, and everyone was like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. This is K-Fool, like one of the best players ever. And I was like, that's like a 25% play. If he'd just thrown a pass to the end zone, it was like 40%. It was just pointlessly complicated for a lower percentage chance of scoring. But everyone just thought it was amazing. And like, since, like, I got better, I realized that I do it too, right? It's just now how your brain works. You can overcomplicate really simple things, and when you actually add up the percentages, turns out you should have just done the non-thinking basic thing. Justicium won the first game, Seth, so Benbow has to win this one. Alright, he is going to do the block the tackle off. So it is now 89, 95% of 89, whatever that is. Like 80% score. Add a 3% failure to try and kill a ghoul. That's okay. Makes the dodge, has the 2 rerolls, doesn't even use them. Job done. Undead, pretty shit at 1 turn in. Can do it, but it's pretty rough doing a movement 7 1 turn when you haven't got a player that can pass either. Hang on. So it's more rough if you don't set up for it all. That feels a little like self-defeating. Like surely we could have done a 1 turn here. We have 11 players. Could we not have done a 1 turn here? Like that. Like they're difficult, but he's got 2 rerolls. And with the way he's set up, it's possible we could have black holed it to push outside the thing. We have to get to there or there, which is pretty hard. But it's not impossible. I'd have to go and like I'm not BB pusher in there, I'm smooth brained. But possible? I guess he like his bench has gone, so he didn't want to risk a ghoul, and he only needs the draw. Man, he got a touchback as well. That would have made it so much easier. I mean, he got a solid defense, which have made it so much harder, but you know. Weird that people don't even look at it or try or anything. And don't have it rote to set up and look to see how it is against the defense. But that's kind of the point, Nerd King. You've brought... Firstly, he's a known undead player, and he's brought undead to a €2,500 tournament. You can't say unless you've practiced undead as if that's like something you shouldn't have done. That should be the bare minimum you've done. Oh, that worked out well. Yes. Absolutely they should. Movement 7 1 turns are the hardest realistic 1 turn to learn. Movement 6 1 turns are not really realistic. Movement 7 1 turns are doable. Movement 7 Frenzy and Movement 7 Sidestep are both next step up and so on. You go up through the movements and then you add the skills. So Movement 7 Sidestep or Movement 7 Frenzy is harder than Movement 8. So Movement 7 is the hardest one, right? It's the hardest realistic one. But it's doable. The main difference between Movement 7 and Movement 8 and 9 is you have to spend one of the pushes, chain pushing your own inactivated player forward. That's the extra bit of skill that you need to learn. Because you will need to take a block with a pushed forward player that isn't the scorer to get the extra push. But you should know how to do a basic version of it. And then if you don't get it right on the day because the setups are different or whatever, that's okay. But you should know how to do the basic 1 turn, the basic version of it. Oh, there were people who didn't know how to 1 turn with Skaven. Not didn't know how to. That's an exaggeration, right? It's more that they didn't know how to do it efficiently. Like, if you add extra pushes to a 1 turn, you're making it incredibly more unlikely. Like for every extra push that you had, you are basically you are basically halving the percentage chance of you succeeding, right? It's 55% for a push, and the multipliers like affect each other. So if you add one extra push, you have multiplied your overall percentage chance of scoring it by 0.55. You've basically halved it, which is a pretty big fuck up. If you had a 30% chance and now you've made it a 15% chance, it's pretty bad. That is an incredible kick, by the way. Let's just talk about how incredible this kick is while I was busy talking about one turns. Look at that kick. This is 1 in 9, 1 in 9, and then 1 in 9 into disaster. Never mind, none of those happened. Oh, I really, really hate not doing anything there. Why are we not bullying? These two could have bullied him. The Crocs could have bullied this ghoul. I don't like the lack of bullying here at all. So he's the blitz, so you can stand there, so that's a 2 dice block. Okay. Not entirely certain. Jesus Christ. Alright, another Dub Skulls comes to visit Benbow. This is still the round of 32, yeah. Dub Skulls come back to Justicium too, so fair play is turnaround and all that. Oh, that's not good. That's an Apo. He was all glowing red, which is a spoiler for, like, something's not over yet. It stays there when you have, like, you know, hit and run and stuff, but in this case, there was no skills on the zombie, which meant that was a removal. Weird spoiler. Two stun Storus this turn is pretty shit. He could surf a zombie if he wanted to. I wouldn't hate it. Nothing else to do, really. Okay, he's not doing that. Weird blitz angle. Oh, you know, push angle. Bit strange. Doesn't follow. Might as well have followed there, I think. Oh, that's why he did that. He wanted to foul. And once again, his foul has failed. And once again, he's argued the call. Pretty crazy. Two terrible fouls that don't matter to either player because of dice. No. Agency in Blood Bowl is normally what we use to describe the tools that you have to be able to do something out of the ordinary, to do something to change the state of play. So it's almost exclusively applied to agility teams and how much agency they have to do something. Like we talk about the fact that like woodies always have agency. They always can do something because of the leap sack. Whereas like dark elves, not so much. Dark elves have to play harassment. Less agency because like they don't have leap. So, you know, that's just it. They play a different game of Blood Bowl. So they use like frenzy to give them some agency. And yeah, the problem with Khorne's frenzy is that it's not as high agency because of what Richie is saying. You can't blitz someone with it and then dodge away or anything like Woodies can. Basically, it commits you to that blitz. Is it? Hang on. What am I missing here with this 2D on the ball? Did I miss something before? Do you mean now? This Saurus. You could. I don't. With who? By filling in these squares? And hit him with the crocs? Or did you mean this Saurus? Oh, I don't know what you said yes to, because I'd already given you another option. This Saurus. How are we chaining this Saurus? Block the mummy with the skink. Well, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but skinks are not as strong as mummies. Jesus Christ, stop rolling dub skulls, Benbow. I think the better play in this turn is to force an early score, right? Is to continue the pressure, is to continue making the ball look unsafe or possibly get 1D'd or 2D'd and force Justicium to bang it in and think that he can stop a short drive when lizards are surprisingly good at a short drive. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Okay, well, I hated everything about that. I don't know why he was doing it, and I hated it. Just randomly taking blocks. Don't know why he's still in Chunt's column. Seems unnecessary. Did get all of his skinks twatted. And now one removed. I don't know what's going on with that last turn. It seemed real bad. Okay. Gets rid of a ghoul. That does force pressure on the score. The 1D POW definitely forces pressure on the score. That's the Crocs going on the ball. That's real interesting. That is looking very much like a 75% dodge. That's looking very much like a 75% dodge. I mean, maybe you do the 1 in 9 dodge to blitz on a 1D. Because the failure states are less and you've got 2 rerolls. Maybe that's the play. Yeah, but it's still a 4. It's still, if you get the 4+, the failure state's a rest, right? This is straight 25% failure state. So this, because it has a built-in, doesn't burn a reroll, is only an 11% failure state. And then this 1 dice block is only 2 dice blitz, but the block is without block then. That doubles that failure state. I think I'd go for that. Because that needs a POW and that's only a 4+. I'd probably go for the dodge 1 dice. That would probably be what I'd choose. Rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this zombie? No, he can make it, but how does he get there? Oh, you mean blitz first to get him out the way, and then go there, and then he can go there, and then that's a 2 dice. Yeah, that could work. That might work out a little better. I try not to samba these things when I'm doing casting because I'm more interested in what my gut feel would be when I was playing, if I was playing it. But gut feeling, that seems pretty good too. Is he going to blitz with the ball carrier? There's no way that's better. Yes. So 2D without block is a 55% chance of knocking him down versus the 1D is a 50%. And you don't want to re-roll the 1D because it's a 1 in 6 failure state. If you re-roll the 2 dice, it's a 1 in 9 failure state. So all of that's better. Makes the 75 dodge in the end. But it does give the Lizards a short drive to stay in the World Championships. Yes, if you re-roll the 2 dice into a 1 in 9, you still have the ball. Who's got knuckle dusters? Someone got knuckle dusters. Oh god, the mighty blow tackle gets knuckle dusters. Ugh. Well, the tackle gets it to be mighty blow. That's not good for the lizards. That's worse. We talked about this, Benbow. We talked about this. Can we not do that? No reason to do that, right? At this point, like, this is not about removals, is it? You don't want to try and get removals. You want to position yourself to score. Everything should be about positioning. So that should have been a block with block, and there should have been a blitz with block, and then the Crocs should have gone and stood on someone that you don't want to move. Would have been quite good to go and stand on the mighty blow tackle. You just block him, blitz him, and go and put the Crocs there. That's tasty. Instead, we've greeded a mighty blow block for no real reason. And now we're in more trouble. Now we got to get scoring threats in place. Because the issue I had with this is he set this up like he's playing a regular drive and he's defending the ball and stuff, but he can't afford to draw. So it's not a regular drive. All of his focus should be on the highest chance of him scoring, because otherwise he's out. Okay, and he removed his own zombies. That's pretty nice. I mean, this is super weak up the right, isn't it? Like, you can just blitz this mummy out the way and bang in a couple of scoring threats straight off the bat. Maybe bang in one scoring threat that's protected and then do the handoff to this one who goes up behind him. Probably that, right? You definitely blitz this mummy, though, surely. Oh, God. His dice have not been good at all. Surely one forward there. Could we not go one forward there? Feels like we could have gone one forward there. Okay, that's pretty good. In scoring range. Oh, we're just okay. That's why we went there then, I guess. Okay, the end of the turn made up for the start of the turn. No reroll needed for any of that. We're barely squeaking into scoring range, but it keeps our hopes alive of staying in the championships. Okay, we're doing a lot of dodging. We're through. We don't get the POW. We do get the POW. And a removal. And the ball goes in the worst possible place. Oh, no, it doesn't. He has to... Oh, he has to... Now he has to tag him. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. Should tag... Okay, double tagging him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we going to chain him? We're going to chain him. We rolled a full pow. Amazing. So we're going for the 4+. So it's 4th, 1 in 9, 3+ to score. We've rolled the 4. We've got the dodge and the handoff. Let's fucking go. I don't like that chain, by the way. That required a full pow. But whatever. That does mean we move to a decider. The decider will, of course, have overtime in, etc. These games have been okay. The mistakes that they've made have not been hideous. I am pleasantly surprised that this has halted the chain of atrocious games that I've had to stare at in the World Championships. And we get a third one. So we will see you in that deciding match.